So the first team to make his start of note in the team time trial yesterday was the Festina team in from Spain, but they're captained by a Dutchman, Steven Rux, a former king of the mountains in the Tour de France. He wants his team to pull out a good time. He wants to stay in contention in this race right down to the mountains that will take us into North Carolina.
He's supported by a mixture of veteran riders and a couple of young ones as Coors Light gets ready to go. Their veteran newcomer, if you can use an oxymoron like that, is Ron Kiefel. And you've got Scott Moninger, Roy Nickman, and of course the leader of the team right now, at least highest on GC, is Davis Finney. Here's the Sheriffs with Steve Haig on the right, the Olympic champion, but the new captain is Malcolm Elliott, the top-ranked professional in the United States. He has got a string of victories here in this country.
And the Festina team, having covered their 15 miles around the streets, come home, but the time a disappointing one. But there were still the best teams to finish, 28 minutes and 55 seconds. They would lose time on the big leaders of this race.
Team Motorola's leader in time trials is Sean Yates, but the captain of this squad is young Lance Armstrong. At 21 years of age, he's the highest placed on general classification. The team gets set to go out and fly high. 7 riders together, and they got to keep Lance Armstrong up front. That'll be the job of the British champion Yates.
And the Russian team, always in for a good performance. This group, the majority past world junior champions. They arrive with the best time of the moment, 28 minutes and 48 seconds.
Out on the road, the men in black, Coors Light, flying an extremely good formation. Here's Roy Nickman of the United States. He is really the workhorse of this team in a lot of situations, and he'll be called upon along with Steven SWART to really power this team. They call him the General, SWART that is, because he's the one that drives them along in the training rides.
Team Motorola now preparing for their start. Team time trialing's all about concentration. This is not the time to go up and ask a rider for his autograph or ask him a question if you're a journalist. It's composure. When they leave the start blocks, they must immediately hit the top speed they require because they've got to hold it there and stay there. The British champion, Sean Yates, known as the Animal, he will lead them off the blocks. He'll get them into their rhythm, and then they will go all in a straight line. Them and the wind. He wears a white jersey with the red, white and blue bands, the champion of Great Britain.
In second spot behind him is the man they called the Kid, Steve Bauer, but here is a veteran leader of WordPerfect. Eric van der Arden, 31 years old, riding in support of the overall leader, Jelle Neidam, looking pensive before the start of this race. He knows it's a crucial one, and the strength of his team will be called on. Raul Alcala taking time to sign an autograph at the start of the race. He perhaps has the most relaxed position on this team.
So the Motorola team out on the course. Their main adversaries, the WordPerfect team, are still to start. Find out who wins the battle in the team time trial when we come back. And we're back now with the team time trial yesterday evening in the Tour DuPont, as starting now the hot favourites, the WordPerfect team, the last team to start in the reverse order of the champion teams of this event.
WordPerfect trying to protect 2 riders in this race. Jelle Neidam, the race leader in the yellow jersey, although he's not wearing it in the team time trial because there's no yellow skin suit. And this man, Raul Alcala, who many have picked to win the race. Coors Light coming home on the powerful legs of Ron Kiefel there on the right. As they drive on the uphill finish, they're on a very, very good time.
As Coors Light come up to the line, they are disturbing the rhythm of the big teams because they are a big team. This a superb time. They're aiming at the young Russians' time, and on the line they get it. Best time so far, 28 minutes, 23 seconds. Back out to the Motorola team.
El Toro de Tejas, the Bull of Texas, Lance Armstrong leading the veteran Sean Yates in his British champion's jersey in the formation of Motorola. Rolling along quite well indeed, thank you very much, on a 4-lane road. And this is a very nice formation indeed. They were clocked at just 5 seconds behind WordPerfect out on one of the turnarounds. Subaru Montgomery, these guys also driving hard. Look at the fancy kaleidoscope effect on those wheels as Vebren Venstra, who is the sprint leader, rolls along in the front. Now Bart Bowen, the U.S. champion, takes his position.
And up towards the finish now, the revitalized LA Chevrolet Sheriffs team this year. They come to the line just a shade outside the best time, now being held by the Coors Light team. And look at that time, Brian.
Chevrolet Sheriffs coming in with an excellent time indeed. With only 5 men, however, it's but second best. Jelle Neidam, the race leader of WordPerfect, moves on his teammate Eric van der Arden. Each rider taking his turn at the front, and the WordPerfect men have been, well, in a word, perfect. At this point late in the race, however, they have lost a single man as Wilco Zijdervik has dropped off. He was the fellow on duty in the Dover to Wilmington road race, and he's a bit tired for this effort.
So he may have gone, but the rest of the team are firing on all cylinders. Jelan Idam is face one of determination. He keeps the team at full pressure. He wants to increase his lead individually overall in the Tour DuPont, and so too does Raul Alcala, who currently lies in second place. Both of these riders gaining everything here. The times across the board, comparing with the Motorola, they are slightly ahead of Motorola. Motorola now finishing to establish their time as they lose a man in the uphill sprint. But remember, the clock stops not on the first man over the line, but the fifth rider to cross the line. 5 men to count.
And it's very important that they keep the formation intact. Motorola crossing the line, and their time ticking away. Second place for the men in blue and red. Team Motorola, they kept it close, however.
They kept it close, Brian, but a little bit disappointed they didn't get the better of the COORS Light team. The COORS Light, the American home-based boys, still the best time. Only one team can beat them, and Len Pettyjohn, the manager of COORS Light, is hoping that that team doesn't succeed. WORDPERFECT on the way home.
Professor Pettyjohn showing a little nervousness, and WORDPERFECT losing a man also. Last guy to come off the back of the formation is Rob Mulders, the young Dutch rider, but they've got 5 well intact, heading for the driving home on the strong legs of Eric van der Arden. And here they go across the line. The time to beat at the top of the screen, the time they get at the bottom. Unbelievable, 28 flat. They take the win. WORDPERFECT followed by COORS Light.
Well, I guess if you come from the flat country of Holland, you should win the flat stages here in the United States. But remember, before this race ends on May 16th, we're going to see some pretty big mountains. Now, Brian, the WORDPERFECT team now occupy the top 4 places overall. What are they going to do today?
Well, I think it really bodes extremely well for WORDPERFECT and their team. I mean, you know, things are looking increasingly good for them and a little dimmer, I would have to say, for the rest of the teams. I still maintain that it's Raul Alcala who's the danger man and not Jelan Idam who holds the yellow jersey. And the challenge is still going to come from Lance Armstrong. Ottlik Valsval has not been able to mount such a strong effort so far, but the mountains are still to come. I would have to say that WORDPERFECT even more in the driver's seat now than ever.
Well, when we come back, we'll be down at the start for today's stage at Port Deposit, and down there is our other colleague, Paul Sherwin. He'll be getting the views of what the other teams think of WORDPERFECT at the moment. Don't go away.